without a shirt on. So a few days ago, I posted a picture on Instagram of me without a shirt on. I did this for several reasons, but all with the same theme. I've just come to believe that it's really, well, it really just showed the transition from what I used to believe and what I believe now, which is that nudity is not a sin. It's not shameful to show your body or just have body parts, or like that certain body parts are worse or dirtier than others, and all that comes with that. I remember just judging people who would post pictures like that, and not even that, like I would judge people a lot based on what they would show on social media. When I first got Instagram, I was very I didn't want to be like the other girls and like post a bunch of pictures of my face and just in any way try to not portray myself as prideful, which ended up being more prideful in itself by me trying to be better than other people by not showing my face or whatever. It's crazy to think about, because now I'm like, it feels like the opposite of that. I think it's totally fine. I think there's nothing wrong. It can be good to just, even if you feel yourself, you think you look good, then why shouldn't you post that? Like, the contrast of what I used to believe and what I believe now is very vast. And so posting this picture kind of was just like a way of showing that to myself, and then just the evolution of my social media life, I guess. I was pretty nervous about some things. Not nervous, I just knew like what would happen, or like I knew it would come with like a kind of like a cost, me posting that. And that was, it was in my drafts for like months. It took me like months to post it. I knew I was at some point, but I was just like, I just kept putting it off. I think I'm afraid of people thinking the things that I would think about people, about me, that I'm being prideful, that I'm using like all, like what I put in my caption, which is trying to be free from shame and like not posting things for other people and just doing it for myself and what I want to do, as a way, like as an excuse to just show off my body or something. That's what I'm really nervous of people thinking about, but I don't believe that even those things are wrong. At least I know that those aren't wrong. I think I still like carry a little bit of that. So anyways, I posted it. It's up. There was a lot of comments, very, very supportive. I know there's people who aren't. Like, I know people who follow me, some people that I know of personally, and just like the genre of people don't care for that. And there was like a couple like comments like, I would be careful, blah, blah, blah. It was like seeing my old self. It was overall a good experience. I wasn't expecting as much support as I got. Like, it's a strange thing, because on one side there was people who were like, that's not even like a big deal. Like, of course no one should be ashamed of that. And then there's people who are like, whoa, that's very brave. Like, and then there's people who think it's wrong. So it was interesting seeing all those people in the comments and whoever liked it and didn't like it, or I don't even know. My goal recently with myself and then what I post is to really just not give a crap what other people think, or just not do things based on what I think people will think of me, or for not do things for that reason. I think there's reasons to not do things, but I don't think it should come from like outside voices or like fear of what other people will think of me. And I'm really trying to live that out, because I think I've been believing it for a while but not really acting it out in like social media and even like how I am. So that's what I've just been trying to practice more and more recently with everything.
Okay. that was gonna be the end of the video, and then I realized it was only 6 minutes long, and I also realized, you know, if I was watching this, I would really wanna know what the parents thought, especially if you're a certain type of person out there that's gonna like lay into us and be like, the parents aren't doing their job, this is the parents' fault. So I thought we need to pipe in, or it'd be beneficial for you guys to hear from us like what our thoughts are of our teenage daughter posting pictures of her partially nude for the public to see. And just like Dove shared, we have also come a long ways in how we've changed. Yeah. We grew up very religious. We did not have sex until we got married, technically. And that was really, really important to us. I would say that sexual abstinence was one of the most important values of our parenting for a lot of years, until it wasn't. And there's a lot of reasons why we changed. You know, I would say what used to be our primary goal was this belief that we needed to protect, especially our daughters for some reason, protect our daughters' purity and their virginity and these kind of other moral, they were like thinly veiled, it was a moral code that was this like purity code, that it was kind of like the stricter the better. Yeah. That was how we saw it. So the more protective and more strict we could be with our kids, the better it was. And now I would say if I was to believe in something that's important that I want to teach them, it's not stricter or any like kind of moral code that's historical or from one particular religion, so much as consent. Like, is this something you want to do, and are you participating with someone else in something that they want to do? And if so, I support it.
Yeah, I want to teach them how to have a voice, and that their voice is really important, and that they know how to hear their voice, and someone else's voice when it comes to their own body is not more important than their own, even the parent, or us as parents.
This was a tough transition for us in a lot of ways, and for those of you that have watched our vlog for a while, you know it started with us. Like, we went to some nude resorts and had experiences where we expanded our view of our own sexuality in our bodies. And you know, you've gone through major changes. You were talking about how, you know, you used to think that certain body parts were like wrong.
Sheesh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I believed my genitals were dirty, that nudity was shameful unless it's in a certain context. And now I just see it as it's nudity, and as long as someone is choosing that for themselves, then, you know, and they're not forcing it on someone else, then I don't see anything wrong with that.
And I imagine there's going to be some stricter or religious folks that are going to say something along the lines of, well, watch out, they're playing with fire, and you know, it's just dangerous.
Which I'd say perhaps. I know for a fact the other way is dangerous. And to not teach your kids consent, and that they have a voice, and that their bodies are not shameful, and that, you know, if they want to experience certain things, that they can do that without shame, whether it be in marriage or not in marriage. I think that's way more damaging than not. And I can attest to that, my own experiences in that.
Yeah, the problem for us with basing sex ed primarily off a purity code, there's what's said, which is like, oh, marriage is the best context for sex and things like that. But then there's like what's not said that's taught just as strongly, which is that if you violate this, you are less pure, you are less clean, you are less worthy, you are less good.
Those beliefs have a hidden cost that I don't think a lot of people who believe those beliefs come to terms with in themselves even, let alone their kids. You know, I do think that sexuality is sensitive, and it's a lot of hurt can come from it, but I would rather I know the other way doesn't work very
So
well.
I know like some people, because they've written stuff in the past where they're like, well, how would you like it if your daughter was a porn star? As if that's like the ultimate, I don't know.
Well, even by saying
the ultimate
that,
failure.
You're right. Even by saying that, you're insinuating that being a porn star is you're devaluing porn stars. You're devaluing people, and you're devaluing people's
A certain type of people.
Which I say, good job. Like, you're devaluing people. That's great. I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, it would definitely be like, oh, that's interesting. That's an adjustment. Let me learn more about that. I don't know that much about that world.
So when I watched this video that Dove made about this, I saw her original post and I was like most of her Instagram posts, I was like, oh, you know, teenagers are being teenagers. And I saw this and I was like, you know, whatever. I didn't really know why she did it. I didn't really care. It didn't really matter to me a whole lot. And I saw this video and she explained what you guys just saw. And I was like, oh, cool. I can relate to that. Like, I know what it's like to feel like social media is fake and to have the type of post where I feel like I need to be authentic for me.
You feel stifled.
Yeah, and in that way, I was proud of her. So if you're gonna say like, well, watch out, you know, I would just say, I don't know. A lot of those like thinly veiled, it's thinly veiled purity code where it's so judgmental, and I just don't want to.
When I saw it, I was proud of her, first of all. And then second of all, I was actually scared of religious assholes coming after her. I was like, and maybe not even religious, but just people being like, basically just like trying to put her in her place.
It'll happen. All right. Yeah. One final recommendation. This book was extremely helpful to us during our transition, specifically with sex education and kids. We have 2 or 3 podcasts recorded on the Fight for Together podcast just about this. I'm going to put the link to this book below. It's called Beyond Birds and Bees, Bringing Home a New Message to Our Kids About Sex, Love, and Equality. Yeah, I'll put the link to the podcast, and I would really encourage you guys to check this out. And I'll put a link also below, this is all if I remember, of a lot of the books that have been helpful for how we see our sexuality also. But this is the best sex ed one that we've found so far. All right, thanks guys. I know this is an interesting and a tougher topic that's gonna be demonetized and get a lot of dislikes. So bring it on. Thanks. Comment if you want to. Bye. It's easy to waste our time, and if we're doing it, our kids are doing it. We wrote a book about how we created a schedule and transformed our family's panic into purpose, all in 1 week.
It's time to do a workout.
The book has all the tools and mindsets that we use, and is basically the best of content of like 1,000 videos, and you can read it in less than an hour. Are you ready to change your week?